Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new series on my channel for FM18. Now with Sunderland out the way and not a lot of time before FM19 comes out, I've decided to go to Italy and pick the worst team in the league in Serie A to see if I can get them to maybe the Champions League or even winning the league or winning the Champions League before FM19 comes out. Now if you're not sure who Benevento are, I think they're a recently promoted team in Serie A. The media prediction is 20th. Their finances are very, very low for the league. So we'll get into that anyway. So this is it. I am the manager of Benevento now. And of course I've got a lot of things to go through. The key things for me that I'm going to be trying to figure out during this summer transfer period is the staffing is absolutely awful for a team in this league. They haven't got many coaching staff, so I'll be looking to bolster my numbers there. Hopefully the board will let me. In terms of money, I've got £1 million to spend and £3,000 in the wage budget available, which is absolutely nothing for this level of football. So unfortunately, we're going to have to be doing some wheeling and dealing. Now, if you take a look at the squad, what do you see? I'll tell you what I see. I see 60% of the squad, maybe even 70% of the squad being loan players, which is a really, really big problem because for a team like this, one of the ways that we are going to be able to fast track our success with the team is being able to sell our players to finance further incomings. Now, if half of your team and probably half of your best players are loan players, you're not going to be able to sell them. So I'm looking at the likes of Danilo Cataldi, who was probably the best player in this side. He's on £47,500 per week and we are paying the full whack of them wages. So I'm going to go away, think about my staff and think about my player recruitment and think about the squad in terms of loans. But don't be too surprised if you see a lot of these loans have been terminated. Now in terms of system that I will play with Benevento, looking at the players that they've got and the sort of tactic that I would like to play, I think I'm basically going to play this. Obviously the roles will be dependent on the person, but I think this might be the way to go in terms of getting the best out of our players and getting the best out of this league, because we're not going to have the best players in the league, not by a long shot. So we're going to have to be quite ruthless in terms of our play style, I think. So yeah, this is the sort of formation that I think I will be settling on in terms of the player roles and the team instructions and the player instructions. All that will depend on who we bring in during the summer, but I will be playing attacking football as I always do. I think it is the best, even if you've got a weaker side. I think it is your best chance in terms of getting results. So just having a quick look through the team report, as you can see, we do have plenty of cover for wings, so we will be playing wingers no matter what. There is a lot of weaknesses and not a lot of strengths. If you take a look at that, Bakary Sagna is one of our best options at right back, and whilst he's a decent player, he's not the kind of guy who you want to rest your hat on. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do in the summer. I will go away and do it, and I'll show you the results once I'm through. Right, we're back. It has been a long, hard summer. A lot of tough decisions had to be made and a lot of ins and outs in terms of staff mainly, but of course of players as well. So we'll quickly review the ins and outs. So we did sell Lorenzo Del Pinto for £725,000. He's went to Croton. He was just a central midfielder who we wouldn't use, and he was one of the few who we're not going to use who actually attracted an offer. So in terms of the ins, we signed Christian Garcia. He is an Argentinian striker on a free transfer. He is very much cover for our two main strikers. I'm training him to play the complete forward role, which he's got the attributes for, but somehow his role is not linking to that, but he has been trained in that position. Next up was Andre Pedrosa for £110,000 from Portugal. 20-year-old defensive midfielder, Portuguese, looks quite solid in terms of defensive midfielder role. You know, he's nothing fantastic, but hopefully these are the kind of signings where, yeah, he's not going to be great, but hopefully we'll make a profit on him. Claude Gonçalves for £200,000 from Portugal. Again, very similar to Pedrosa. He's got very good stats for the defensive midfielder role. He probably will be in the first 11 come the start of the season. And again, £200,000. Not a bad price. Hopefully we'll be able to sell him for a profit next season or the season after. Next up was Nelson Montier, a central midfielder, again from Portugal. Seems to be a lot of bargains to be had in the Portuguese league. We signed him for £375,000. Again, just a well-rounded central midfielder. He will be in our starting 11. 3-star current, 4-star potential. Hopefully we'll make a nice profit on him come the end of the season. Next up for £775,000 was Claudio Mora, an Italian striker. He will be a first choice striker, again similar to the Argentinian. He isn't actually comfortable in the complete forward role, although he does have the stats for it. He's like a super average player, but I'm hoping the fact that he's Italian, the fact that he's still young and he can improve, Hopefully we'll get a good season out of him, and then you never know, might be able to sell him for 1.5 million, 2 million, something like that. Mitchell Donald, an older gentleman, 28 years old. We signed him for our defensive midfielder position because we did cancel Danilo, Cataldi and Sandro's loans because of the wages we were paying them. And if you're wondering where the money's come from for all these, it's because I cancelled them loans. Particularly Cataldi was on 47 grand a week, and I've been able to merge some of the wage budget into the transfer budget. It actually gave us around 4.5 million and like 70 grand wage budget. So that's how we've been able to sign these sort of players. We signed him for 775 grand. And yeah, just a really well-rounded, really solid defensive midfielder. I'm hoping this guy will be one of our key players for the season. This guy's not the kind of guy that I'm going to look to make a profit on. You know, we're signing him for 700 grand. We probably could make a profit on him, but he's 28 years old. We'll just hopefully get good performances out of him. Renato Santos was our final sign of the summer. We signed him for £1 million from Boa Vista in Portugal. And again, another really well-rounded right midfielder. He's better than the options we had. We did have a loan player, D'Alessandro, who will be played back up to Renato Santos. Hopefully we get a good season out of him. Make a profit. There's one I actually forgot. Alex Moreno for 1.4 million, our biggest transfer fee spent. He was listed from Vallecano. He was listed from Vallecano, 1.4 million. This isn't all up front. It was like 250 grand up front with 1.2 million over 3 years. So yeah, hopefully get good performances out of him. But unfortunately, he's tore his hamstring straight away and he's out for another 5 weeks and 2 months, which is just brilliant. So in terms of the first 11, I'll quickly go through them. So Christian Pugioni is going to be our starting goalkeeper. He's a very average goalkeeper, but he's probably the best what we'll get. Right back, we're going to start with Letizia. He's an Italian right back, 27 years old. He looks quite well rounded to me. His physical stats in particular are quite impressive. So hopefully we'll get a good season out of him. In centre-back, we're going to start with Nelson Montier, who we did sign. And we're going to also start with Luca Antia, who's an Italian 25-year-old centre-half. Again, well-rounded physicals, decent. Left-back, we're going to start with Alan Atoshka. He's a Romanian left-back or centre-back option. It will be a tussle between him and Lazar, who starts at left back, but with Moreno out injured, we're going to actually start with Lazar on the left hand side. So Mitchell Donald, who we've spoke about, and Claude Gonçalves, who we spoke about, will be starting in the defensive midfield positions. Renato Santos, who we've talked about. Alex Moreno will be the starting left winger, but he's injured, so Ashraf Lazar will be starting as our left winger. On loan from Newcastle United, he's a decent option all the way down this left hand side, and hopefully we'll get some good performances out of him. And up front, we're going to start with Massimo Corda, he's sort of the guy who we're banking a lot of our hopes on. He's a average Italian striker, and I'm just hoping he can really outperform his attributes this season. And of course, Claudio Mora, who we'll also spoke about. Now, in terms of games played, we have went through the pre-season. We did play an Italian Cup third round qualifier against Empoli at home. We won this one 2-0. Ashraf Lazar and Claudio Mora getting the goals to see us through to the next round. And we start this season against Fiorentina in the Serie A. So team has been picked. These are the sort of instructions we're starting with, and working the ball into the box, exploiting the flanks, pushing higher up, closing down more, using tighter marking and preventing short goalkeeper distribution. This is the system we're going to go with. We're going to start with initially attack and fluid. Let's see how we can do against Fiorentina today at home. They're starting with 4-5-1. They've obviously got a much better team. And I just want to make this clear right here, right now. The goal for this season is to avoid relegation at all costs. We are not going to be competing for mid-table positions, top half finishes, Europe, all that sort of stuff. It's not feasible with the level of players that we've got at the minute. This season is all about bringing in them cheap transfers, getting them a good season, hopefully a good season under their belt, seeing their value rise and being able to sell them for more than they're worth at the end of the season, to be able to then bring in players who might be able to push us further up the table. Right then, first game of the season, we are at home against Fiorentina and we are shooting from right to left. Highlight now early on Fiorentina with the corner. It's cleared by Gonçalves, but only as far as Lafaso to Bedell. Astori's got it now. Back to Bedell. Challenged by Donald, but can I get a Benassi? Falconelli, can we get a challenge in? It looks like it's going to be a Fiorentina opportunity here. But we've actually cleared and Claudio Mora comes away with it now. It's 2-on-2, but his pass is really bad. Sporty yellow with a big kick. Tosco wins it to Lazar. Lazar, lovely through ball for Corda. He's through in behind. He finds Mora. What composure that was. The two Italian lads up front combine and get us the 1-0 lead. Now this was an absolutely fantastic ball by Lazar. You see him here pick out Corda through the centre of the defence, and Corda completely unselfishly, I thought he was going to take the strike, and you know the keeper's got good odds from that position, but he finds Mora who can slot it away. 1-0, come on boys. Another highlight, Renato Santos now gets the free kick in, but it's over. Highlight now, Simeone's through, but Poggioni can claim. Poggioni with a big kick up. Mora manages to win it. Corda's through now by Santos is through. Ball, he hits the post but comes back out to him. And he makes it 2-0. We are started fantastically. Poggioni with a big hoof up. Mora does really well to find Renato Santos on the right hand side, who plays the through ball at Corda. I was sure he was missing this, and he did initially, but we were very fortunate for it to come back out, and he beats the keeper at the front post 2-0. And that's going to be that for the first half. Time is ticking away now, and we will get a half-time 2-0 up against Fiorentina. What a fantastic start. No changes to be made. The boys are pumped up. We'll get out for the second half. Probably make some changes around the 60th minute or so. 63rd minute now, and we are in possession through Lazar, but we're deep in our own half. We need to be very careful. Mora now comes away with it. He tries to play a quarter through. He gets past his man. Can he get it in? He can. It's 3-0 Benevento against Fiorentina, and Massimo Corda is having a fantastic game. Mora picks up the ball here, and it's an absolutely excellent through ball. The Fiorentina defence is playing an incredibly high line, and we have just been able to completely torture that this game, and Corda gets his second of the game. Right, 67 minutes in, the boys are absolutely cruising. We're going to make some changes to save some legs. We'll get Belong on for Luca Antia, and we'll get Claude Gonzalez off for Andrea Pedrosa. Highlight now, Fiorentina on the attack, but they give the ball away to Renato Santos. Corda finds Mora with a through ball again. The defence's line was high again, but he kind of beat Sporty Yellow this time. Oh, it's a penalty. The corner. I wasn't even paying any attention. The corner came in and they took down Belong in the box. And it is a penalty for Benevento, who stepped up. It is Corda. Can he get his hat-trick? Oh, yeah, Sporty Yellow saved it. Nightmare. Highlight, 78 minutes in. Fiorentina high up the pitch. Falconelli gets the ball in. Simeone's there, but it's cleared. Lofaso takes the strike, hits the post, comes back out to Gil Diaz, and he's made it 3-1. Oh, I'm not a big fan of that. Falconelli gets the ball in. It is cleared by our men initially, but there's four or five of them all going for the same ball. Lofaso takes a strike. Gil Diaz is just completely unmarked, makes it 3-1. Just made some defensive changes to the player roles and attacking mentality. But we've managed to see it through. 15 seconds remain in the match. We are 3-1 up. And that is it. Benevento win that opening fixture in the Serie A. 3-1 against Fiorentina. Fiorentina are no mugs. They are a really good side. And we've managed to come away with the 3 points today. So, after that opening fixture, we are 4th in the Serie A. And if we could just stay there for the rest of the season, then that would be fantastic. But we've got to be a bit more realistic than that. And looking at the fixture list coming forward, I would like a game that we could potentially win. Torino are a good side, Lazio are a good side, AC Milan are obviously a good side. Spal's a bit too early. So, we're going to get a Crotone. We're going to... that's too much. We're going to return for the Lazio game in October. You know, Lazio are a very good side, obviously, but we are at home, and you never know, we might be able to make something happen. Well, an opening day victory, and some of our new signings did perform particularly well. And, you know, I hope you're understanding the strategy I'm kind of going for, signing sort of a scattergun approach, signing a lot of cheap players with the hope of being able to finance a bigger moves further on in the save. Now, obviously, this is a big change from the Sunderland save that I was doing earlier on, and FM19 is coming up soon, so I will be trying to pump through this game and get through as many seasons as I can before FM19 comes out. If you have enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like, and if you're enjoying my content, get yourself subscribed. But until next time, take it easy.